What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today, on the top of the map, we're going to see Lock play as the Japanese, and on the bottom of the map, we're going to see a Chinese player piloting the French. Both of these players are Conqueror 3 players, and I'm expecting some really good gameplay out of both of these players today. So we're already getting a Dark Age rush from the Japanese player. This is a pretty standard opening. Usually what Japan tries to do is get the barracks down as quickly as possible because it's only 75 wood, and then send spears over here to the enemy gold to try to slow down their age ups and slow down their gold mining. So we're going to have to see how that rush goes. And the map today is going to be Hill and Dale. Hill and Dale, I personally love because you get these deer right next to your base. Anytime I'm playing a Civ that needs 2 TCs, I always just place my second TC right on top of that deer pack, and it works wonders for getting to Castle Age out of a second TC. It looks like maybe our French player has sensed this Dark Age rush because they have put 4 villagers on gold. I'm assuming to get gold as fast as possible. Because they probably assume that these spears are incoming. The spear does decide to attack the wolf, though. Are they going to win this fight? Probably very easily. We got to really focus in on this super intense fight right here. That wolf does die. Unfortunate for the wolf. So we're going to watch here and see if our French player is able to get enough gold for the age up. I bet their scout might have spotted these spears on their way. Why are the spears going the long way around? Okay, it looks like our Japanese player Lock did notice that the spears were going super far away, but that might give our French player enough time to get enough gold that they need for the age up. I think they got survival instincts. They did not. Oh, they bought wheelbarrow immediately. So they need a bunch of extra gold for both wheelbarrow and the age up. Will they be able to get their last 10 gold? They get it. They have 200 gold for the age up. Before these spears run in, the spears are going to delay that gold production as much as possible. I think the spears were just a little bit too late. Our French player was just barely able to secure that gold for the age up before moving over to food. Very, very good play by the French player there, putting so many villagers on gold. And I think maybe the spears just went to the wrong direction. This spear is going to work on burning down this mining camp. I don't know if they're going to be successful in that. The forge has dropped, and now our Japanese player is collecting a ton of gold, and they are also collecting deer in mass. They've gotten their first version of their wheelbarrow upgrade, which boosts berry production by a lot. I am a little surprised they don't have a few villagers on berry with that boosted gather rate. And we're getting a Chamber of Commerce down for the French player. This is going to act as a market, and it produces traders for free whenever you get technological upgrades for the economy. So they have a lot of potential to create free resources from those traders. And a spearman is running over here. The second spearman in this little Dark Age rush here. Neither player has made it to feudal just yet. And is Japan looking at that feudal age up? They just hit the 200 gold. They just hit the resources required to put down that storehouse, and there it is. Now both players are working their way into feudal. While these spears are burning down this mining camp still, they might actually get it down before our French player is able to produce any troops at all. Lumber camp going down there for those villagers on trees. Not collecting out of the deer yet for the French, and no survival techniques. I'm curious why they went with the wheelbarrow, like, literally instantly. That's a lot of gold. 150 gold, but they were able to micro those villagers away from the Dark Age rush. Scout just bringing in some sheep here for our Japanese player. While the mining camp is going to go down, that is going to successfully burn down. Our Japanese player has successfully pushed our French player off of gold completely, and I'm surprised our French player isn't moving around the map a little bit to get like at least 2 villagers on stone over here. It is possible that our Japanese player would see that, but at the moment they have so few units it would be hard to scout the entire map and move those units over there for golds. There could be some extra gold production over there. And now our French player is going for stone. That's interesting. I'm betting a lot of money that they're going to build a second TC there. The storehouse is still being worked on back here in the Japanese base, and as soon as that storehouse goes down, I'm going to look at how they balance out their villagers. It kind of looks like Lock is going for a fast castle. We see 15 villagers on food and 4 villagers on gold, and they're almost at 800 food, so it looks like they are just saving up for that castle age. Curious how quickly they're going to be able to get down that castle age as the Japan civilization. Oh, several villagers, only 4 villagers moved off of food here to go to the wood production, and tons of villagers on stone down here. Looks like they just crossed that threshold for the amount that they need to build a second TC, and these villagers are placing the second TC right down on top of the gold. This is going to be great. Everybody can garrison in here to defend themselves from any future attacks. And now this gold is going to be a lot more secure with that second TC right there. The storehouse is almost completed. A new age begins for our Japanese player. And we can see at the top they already have 1,200 food for that age up. They are only missing about 160 gold to get to castle age, which is crazy. They are going for the fast castle play today, and I assume once they get there, they're gonna either go mass mounted samurai, or mass Yumi. But I guess they could just do Yumi in the feudal age. Walls are going up for the French player. That's probably really, really smart, especially with those mounted samurai on the way. Not being produced yet, but I think our Japanese player is going for the fast castle. These spears running in for a little attack, but that TC immediately ends their lives. They did not make it far. That TC did kill that spearman very easily. And there is the castle landmark from our Japanese player. We are getting the Temple of Equality and not the floating gate today, so they're going to get Buddhist monks here, which I think produce gold for Japan. One single archer making the way over with a scout from France to Japan. Yes, and we are seeing a stable go down immediately for Japan. The stable is going to be finished before the castle age up, and as soon as that is completed, they are going to start amassing mounted samurai. Mounted samurai are just absurdly tanky. Little bit of a archer. Little bit of a fight here. That archer does go down to the Ana. That's a Ana, right? Yeah, Ana Bugeisha. And the scout goes down as well for our French player. No, they lost their scout. So now we're seeing these villagers get rerouted to food with that berry upgrade. They've gotten their version of wheelbarrow twice now. Back in the French player's base, we're getting a barracks down. We just have the archery range and 2 barracks. Just tons of spears rolling out in preparation of those mounted samurai. And one Anabugeisha is just going to die here. And we can see a bannerman has rolled out for Japan. Those bannermen boosting damage in their radius for Japanese units. Several units on gold here. I think they need just a ton of gold to start producing these mounted samurai. The fast castle allows you to produce mounted samurai very quickly. That is a insanely good strategy for Japan. I'm not seeing an age up building yet for the French. I haven't seen them go to castle age yet, and they're not saving much food. It looks like they have just enough gold to age up, but the food is just not in the bank at the moment. And they are going to want to get that age up as quickly as possible, if for no other reason than to just upgrade their spears against these mounted samurai. 2 mounted samurai are on the way. They're going to make their way over here. And we see another 2 mounted samurai, or a scout and a bannerman, are burning down this gate. but several archers and spears are here to chase them out and save that gate. And all of these traders here, I'm curious if our Japanese player Lock has spotted this massive group of traders. They're not traveling very far, but that income is still free after producing the trader. I see an archery range drop down. I wonder if we're going to see the Yumi roll out today. I usually run Yumi Mounted Samurai when I play Japan. I do love those cheap archers. They feel very, very good. We have a good party of Mounted Samurai trying to break their way into the French player's base. We have several spears on the other side of the gate here, though, with some archers. And they're going to retreat initially and maybe try to run back in and get some kills. But those spears are very effective against cavalry. The Mounted Samurai are pretty good against spears, though, because of their extra armor. The Mounted Samurai can feel incredibly tanky, and especially if these spears have not been upgraded to Castle Age spears yet, which they have not. Our French player is still in Feudal Age, almost 4 minutes after Japan made it to Castle Age. And just another little skirmish here on the outskirts of our French player's base. And I think this is the age up. We're getting the Guild Hall. Guild Hall, of course, produces free resources. And you can set that to any resources you want. A wall going down. Are they trying to steal this villager? That's hilarious. Okay, they did not steal the villager, but they saw that that wall was going down and at least attempted to kill that villager. But the villager is retreating now as the mounted samurai are making their way over there to probably burn down this wall, prevent this wall from going up. This wall looks like potentially could just be a good farm area. I only see berries over here. And nothing crazy behind this wall besides maybe stone and berries. Maybe they were trying to wall off the relic, and then our Japanese player just grabbed that relic before our French player could wall it off. So I bet that wall is for that relic, actually, and not the berries. Yeah, this guy's bringing back this relic to the base, and our French player just hit the Castle Age up with the Guild Hall. Now they are going to be able to start producing Arbitalaires, which are in just like a insanely strong crossbow unit for the French. They're unique to the French. They get a shield that increases their armor, and you can upgrade their armor on that shield, and it feels very, very good. Over here, we see that Japan is amassing a ton of mounted samurai, and now Yumi are starting to join the party. These Yumi are going to be great counters to all the spearmen here. And the mounted samurai are just so tanky that they might be able to run into all of these spearmen with absolutely no problems at all. Over to the left, we're seeing the French walling off more of this map, trying to give themselves a lot of breathing room from Japan. This gate is about to fall, and as soon as that gate falls, the mounted samurai are going to be able to run freely inside this base and potentially kill a ton of villagers. I don't think our French player has realized yet. There they go. The villagers pull back and start garrisoning inside those TCs. While the spears successfully defend from the mounted samurai, they don't want to take that fight right now under the TC. They're backing away a little bit, and both players are starting to work on upgrades for their units. We've got ranged armor for Japan and melee damage for the French. Working on building up that melee damage, possibly to try and counter the armor on that cavalry. The Arbitalaires could potentially be very deadly here for our French player. I think they pretty much are just a hard counter to heavy cavalry. In the center of the map, we can see Japan is capturing that first sacred site. They actually captured this sacred site as well, and they're going for the third sacred site, so they have that sacred site victory on its way. A ton of Yumi have now joined this military for Japan. Very, very cheap archers. They're like super cheap to produce, and you can just amass a ton of them very easily. No players have worked on securing any of this gold out in the region of this map. Pillendale just has like a ton of gold all over this map. And I feel like in my games, it's very, very important to lock that gold down. At least some of it, so you can have gold going into the late game. One single mounted samurai does fall, while these Yumi while the Yumi are trying to scope out what this military looks like, but the crossbows are starting to amass. And what's interesting is these Yumi, I think, work as a soft counter to the Arbitalaires because they are not cavalry and they're also light armor. They're not heavy armor. So I think the Yumi work as kind of a soft counter to those Arbitalaires there. Several villagers making their way back into the base, while it looks like these mounted samurai are running over here to burn down this wall. Looks like they're looking for some villager kills. Right now, only Japan has gotten one single villager kill. Both players are just producing. But oh my god, Japan is almost 40 villagers behind the French player. I didn't even notice. I know our French player has gone 2 TC, and I guess that explains the difference, but their economy should be at a significantly stronger point right now. I feel like those mounted samurai are just so tanky, but it feels like the French military cannot do anything against them. I am shocked that Lock is 42 villagers behind. The answer to life. Many villagers behind. I hope somebody got that reference. Hopefully. More Arbitalaires are rolling out as the military moves around. It looks like all of the villagers that were over here on the deer got moved back in time and did not perish this party. A keep is going down right here, and of course, for the French player, this will reduce the cost of their units and makes units much more affordable, and by much I mean 20% exactly. Both militaries gathering here. Let's go check and see what our units are doing on the Japanese side. They have 34 on food, 0 on gold. They have 0 on gold. It's because, oh yeah, it's because they have 28 of the Buddhist monks. Okay, that might explain a little bit of why they have so few villagers here. And it's because they have 29 monks producing gold, and they also didn't build a second TC. We can see down at the bottom that actually Japan has only 14 seconds of idle time on that TC. So they've had their TC making villagers more efficiently than our French player, but they are still so far behind on villagers. It's crazy that the French player is behind in military value with this superior economy here. Are they investing resources in Imperial? I don't see an Imperial building anywhere. Military moving down here. I wonder if they're going to try to swing in an attack from the side here. Maybe move in an attack from this angle here. Or if they're just down here to defend these food villagers. Let's see what they're going to do. So many units joining our party. How many Buddhist monks? They have 40 Buddhist monks right here. That's crazy. Now 41. Almost 42. These militaries are just gathering. This military here is working to protect this gold. Looks like our French player is trying to move out into the map and get to a place where they can secure more gold for themselves. And oh my god, Lock has put a stone wall up here with no gate, so these traders cannot leave for France. I assume they have rerouted their traders somewhere else on the map. That is unfortunate. And we are going to see that French player start neutralizing those sacred sites now. To prevent that sacred victory, just a few horse, just a few mounted samurai running over here to kill this one single spear. I don't know if they're going to be able... I don't know if this spear is going to be able to survive this. Not at all. That spear is absolutely dead. And the traders going the long way around to that trading post. Our French player has not realized that that wall went up and that their traders are taking a much longer path around. And it looks like this military is running in to attack these traders. I do think our Japan player has spotted these traders. Several mounted samurai getting caught out. It looks like those were the 4 that went and cleared up the sacred site, and they did get caught out. It looks like we have a red palace. The Imperial palace is going down for our French player. This works as a keep, and they're going to be able to use this to protect not only this gold, but also this sacred site. But is it going to finish before the Japanese army gets here? This army is huge. It completely and totally outnumbers our French military right now. I don't know how they did it with only 61 villagers. And it looks like this keep is going to go down. The Red Palace finishes just in time. The mounted samurai turning around for a little bit while the Yumi try to pick off as much infantry as possible. The Yumi are going to be super effective against this infantry, whereas the infantry will counter those mounted samurai from Japan. Just a quick little skirmish here. Nobody wants to take an in-game fight yet, it seems like. They're just saving their militaries around these much-needed resources while Japan just focuses on the center. They might actually be moving in for an attack here. What is going on with all of these monks? We're up to 57 Buddhist monks. That is ridiculous. And the mounted samurai and Yumi are going to start working down this wall here, trying to get into the enemy player's base. This military is now moving in, but they are so far away. The French military is so far away now. This attack has a potential to be devastating, but they're backing off for some reason. All the military units are backing off, as we can see back here. Just a few spears and crossbows harassing, and it looks like they got about 10 villager kills. Or only 4, actually, for our French player. And down here, several of the Buddhist monks just ran into that red palace there. Interesting. Several elite upgrades rolling in. These mounted samurai finish off those 4 or 5 units so easily. I'm really surprised Japan did not push in there when the French military was super far away. The French military still has not made it back to base. Japan had pushed there. I think that attack would have been devastating. They could have cleaned up so many villager kills if they got into the French base there. Because these walls are still only stone. At this point, we're just waiting for a massive battle that is decisive in who is going to win this game. What? This is insane. We're up to 66 Buddhist monk. Is this a strat? Is this a legit strat? And now it looks like they are going for the attack. Now that the bombards are here, so many mounted samurai making their way in. It looks like everybody's just going to attack this keep as fast as possible. The Arbiters are here to defend now. Is there enough of them? So many monks. So much healing going on right now. That is crazy. And the bombardiers in the back rolling out for Japan to try and take down this keep. It looks like the mounted samurai are being picked off pretty effectively by the crossbows, but there are a ton of Yumi in the back that are also picking off those Arbiters as quickly as possible. And the cannons are just going to work on burning down this keep here in front of the French player's base. If this keep falls, I don't know if there is much that our French player can do. And just look at all of the healing from all of these Buddhist monks. All of these units are just staying full health. All of the Yumi are just not dying from all of this healing. And I'm curious where did the mounted samurai go? They've only have 3 mounted samurai left, so the Arbiters did absolutely hard counter those mounted samurai, while the Yumi are just staying alive through the healing of all of those Buddhist monks. Absolutely crazy. The Arbiters are being forcibly pushed back, and I think that these cannons are going to seal the deal for Japan today. They have taken down the keep and the second TC, and it looks like the last of the Arbiters are going to fall. Mangonels are rolling out, but it's a little bit too late. This Yumi death ball is too large, and they are just executing every single military unit that France produces, and the French player calls it with the GG. I think that was a really fun little game there. Japan with those mounted samurai. The mounted samurai did get chewed up by those Arbiters at the end, but the Yumi backed them up and were able to take out all those Arbiters. GG's to both players. And if you all did enjoy this, please consider leaving a like or even subscribing. And I hope to see each and every one of you in the next video. Bye!